This is the Ender 3 3D printer, and with this 3D printer, I've made a bunch of accessories for the Nintendo Switch. We're talking about grips, game cases, and whatever this thing is supposed to be. But we'll get onto all that stuff later, because for now, we're talking about and ranking my 10 favorite Switch accessories that I've made using this 3D printer. Okay, so we're starting off with the number 10 3D print here. And this one is more of a simpler one. In general, we're gonna start off simple and get more complex as we get into better prints. And the number 1 print is something I absolutely love and is something I use pretty well every day on my Switch. So you're gonna wanna see that. But for now, we got this thing. This is the first 3D print we're talking about here. It's a pretty simple shape, but what does it do? I hear you asking. Well, let me show you. So you know those things that come with your Switch that you pretty well never use, but you still like to have available? Things like this plastic piece and the Joy-Con covers, of course. Well, if you take this thing and then put these Joy-Cons, they slide right into here and both on either side. So then you got that. And then you put this thing and it slides right into that and everything is compact and ready to go. But what's even cooler, so it's got a little hook on the front here, as you can see. And then you just take your Switch in its docked form. You unlid the back like that. And then you can hook it right in the back of the Switch dock, close it, and then all these accessories are right there on your dock whenever you need it at any point in time. It's just a cool little thing. It's a simple prop. Obviously, that's why it's in the number 10 spot, but it's just a nice little place to keep all your Switch, you know, useless accessories organized like that. Okay, and the next Switch accessory that we have here is actually one that's going to be used with your Pro controller. And what it is, it's pretty simple. It is basically this thing here. All it is really, it's a simple little stand if you want to present your Pro controller in a nice way like that. You can put this thing on your shelf, on your desk, wherever you want, and it even has the Switch logo ingrained in it right there, as you can see. So it's a pretty cool thing. Again, another really simple one, but it serves a very nice purpose. And it just looks very appealing, I think, in my opinion, rather than your controllers being thrown around in the drawer. And that is the Switch controller stand. The more you know. Okay, now we're getting into a bit more interesting grounds here, because the next accessory that we have is this thing. Now you're probably wondering, what could this weird shaped thing be used for? Well, I'll just show you, it's easier that way. So basically, playing the Switch in handheld mode, it's great, right? You can play this anywhere on the go at any time pretty well. But you have to use the Joy-Cons in most cases, unless you can find a place to pop open the stand like this and rest it, and then maybe use a Pro controller like this instead of the Joy-Cons, right? And this is where this 3D print comes in. Basically, you can take a Pro controller like this, and then you could put it in the Pro controller, and it stretches right over. Stretches like that, okay? And then you can mount this on the Pro controller. And then what these little pins are, just so everything is secure, you can take an elastic band and then wrap it around so this thing will keep your Pro controller in place and nothing will move around. So everything looks like that. And then you take your Switch, all you need is the screen. You don't need the Joy-Cons, but you can put them in if you want. And you put the Switch right in this slot here. And then once that's slid in, it clips nicely in the center. And you basically have your Switch that you can play anywhere using your Pro controller. It's super comfortable, super handy. I love the Pro controllers, as you know. And then it just allows you to play it as you do with the Joy-Cons, but with the Pro controller. And yeah, it just solves a pretty interesting problem that you would never even think needs to be solved, but now the Switch can be played in an even more comfortable manner anywhere, just like you would with the Joy-Cons. Okay guys, get ready for this next 3D print here. This one is actually insane and revolutionizes everything. This is an historic print for the entire human race. We're talking about this thing. Now what this does, if you weren't aware, you take your Joy-Cons, right, and they slide into each of these little slots, and then we get it looking like this, and that's how the piece works. So basically, what it does, it solves a really critical problem in the gaming industry, being you can't drink and play video games at the same time. Well, with the Switch can holder, you can now put any bottles or cans in the middle and have your drink readily available at all times, even while you're gaming. So the game never stops. You're in the middle of an online game, but you need to drink. Done, just like that. I didn't even need to put down the controller. What a revolution this thing is for all of mankind. Or even put a straw. You don't even need to tilt it upwards. This is the perfect print for any hardcore, serious gamer. Okay, in all seriousness, this thing's kind of dumb, but you gotta admit, that's one of the funniest ideas I've ever heard in my life. A drink holder for your Switch controller. I mean, yes, it could be kind of convenient, but just don't rage and throw your controller when you're using this thing, and you should be all good. It does look kind of cool though, I will say that. It's got the Switch logo etched in the middle, as you can see, and everything does look pretty clean and smooth with this thing. So that's definitely a plus. So the next 3D print here is actually another really cool one. It looks really good aesthetically, probably the best aesthetic print that we've seen so far, and it is the note block. Yes, this is the note block from all the Mario games, or at least that's what it's based off, and it does look pretty cool like this. But it's not just for show. You can actually open the top of this thing, just like that, and you can store all your Switch games in here, and it's really convenient just to bring over to someone's house or bring over to a friend's like that. And just to give you a little demonstration here, we got a few Switch game cartridges just like these ones here, and we're just gonna put them in the note block. And they all fit super snug. This is it's a clean design, I will say that. I really like the design. And there's actually 4 micro SD slots in here, so you can hold 8 games and 4 micro SD cards. So that's pretty cool. It's overall a great print, and obviously you can use the lid to keep everything nice and secure and bring this note block wherever you may. And come on, they made it out of a note block from the Mario series. That's just pretty cool. Why didn't I think of this? Okay, and the next one we're looking at here is honestly a really nice looking print because we're taking a look at this thing. And as you can see, before even looking at it, it's got the words Nintendo Switch just etched in the front. So it's a pretty gorgeous thing. And then it has, at the back, all these slots in it like that. And it's just super clean. You got the red and white Switch colors in the front, and it just looks pretty cool. But what it does, obviously it might be a bit of self-explanatory, but you can take this Switch thing like this, and then you can put all of your Switch games in it. So it's a Switch game holder. It holds up to 12 games, and it just makes everything look really cool. Obviously the red's all matching, the Switch logo is matching from the print and the game, and it just looks really cool. It's more for like a desk, I'd say. If you have a shelf, you could still use this if you want it to look a bit cooler. But it's like if you don't have any shelf space or just want to put this on your desk somewhere, it looks very cool like that. You know, that's all it is. Sometimes you just need a great looking print, a thing to make your Switch games look better. You don't need to revolutionize the industry with every 3D print, alright? You can just hold some games and make it look nice. That's what this thing does. So here's the scenario. You're at your friend's house, but he only has one Pro controller. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to play with the single Joy-Con. Probably the worst controller for the Switch. It is very convenient, so it's a great feature they put in, but in terms of the other controllers, it's awful. No one wants to be the one using a single Joy-Con. So now we got a 3D print that'll make this sucky situation just a little less sucky because that is the single Joy-Con grip. And obviously, I mean, this one's pretty self-explanatory. The Joy-Con just slips into here just like that, and now it makes it a bit more comfortable. Or honestly, compared to what it was before, a lot more comfortable. We got just 2 handles on this thing. Very light, very minimal, honestly all you need. And then we even got these things, so you can still use the triggers, but you don't have to use those tiny little buttons. These are also clickable buttons, so it's a pretty cool little piece, and obviously very convenient to carry around. So if you go to your friend's house, you know, the one that always gives you the single Joy-Con, bring one of these, and you'll just be a little less mad at him when he gives you this controller. Okay, this next print we're looking at here actually has a lot of features to it, but it looks pretty simple. It's this thing. Now, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of stuff that just flops around like that. So you're probably asking, what does it do? Well, what doesn't it do is the real question. So first of all, you could just kind of fold it like this, link these in place, and then these two flaps will fold down just like that. And then you just place it here. Take your Switch, right? Take it. And then you could set it down, and it's a nice little stand for your Switch. This is super simple, super light, so you can pretty well just bring this thing anywhere, set it down wherever, and always be able to play your Switch games, right? But while that's already a pretty great feature to have this compact of a stand like this, it also does more things, and I'll show you. Basically, right, if you look in the middle, it's got all these slots in here. And what this does, much like the note block, it can store your games as well. So you just pop a few cartridges in the corresponding slots and they will fit nice and snug. And look at this, boom, there you go. You can put 8 cartridges in this thing, so same as the note block, and then just fold it up, bring it wherever. Now you have a stand and games ready for wherever you take this thing. And this is one I actually use a lot, pretty well for any road trip or anywhere I'm going that's not home. It's just a super convenient thing to play. And obviously with the stand, it doesn't just have one lock, right? So you can put the stand like this, like that, you know, all the different angles, math stuff. But these are all the different slots you can put it in, right? And that's pretty well it. This is just a pretty versatile, super compact, easy solution for your Switch. I sound like a salesman here, but this is great. I will reiterate. Next, we're looking at a very simple yet functional print that solves a common complaint with the Switch. We are talking about the Switch grip. And again, how you use it, it's pretty simple. You take the grip, you take your Switch, you put the Switch in said grip, and now your Switch has grip on it. And it just makes it a lot more comfortable to play. Like, you got these nice, ergonomic, smooth, look at this smooth, the detail in that. Boom, that's how you make a Switch grip. And I wish I had more to say about this. The controller's kind of uncomfortable on its own, as you can see. You know, it's flat, right? Flatness, obviously. So it's not the most comfortable, but with the grip, it makes it feel like more like a Pro controller or just any other Xbox, PlayStation, whatever controller. That's what this is. And that's about it. It's a grip. You grip it. You grip the grip. Let's go to number 1. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this 3D print? This is one of the coolest things I've seen in a pretty decently long time, and it is this thing. Now, what is this? You say this is the number 1 print, but what am I even looking at? These are controller ports? What the hell are you trying to do to me, Bits? Well, basically, it's not just controller ports, right? So what you do, you take your Switch dock, right? And this actually clips right under the Switch dock. So these all clip together. And then just simply do that. Boom. Everything looks good. And it's all in one big piece. Then, right, you take your GameCube adapter, you put it in the back. So it slides right in. There's a whole port here. You put the GameCube adapter. And now you can plug in your GameCube ports for Smash Brothers and those type of games in the bottom, and everything looks clean like that. So as you can see, there's a little indent here, so the USBs can still go in, so it's still readable, the GameCube controller is. And now you can play, hang on. Now you can play your GameCube controllers on the Switch and everything looks cool. And literally this is designed, what's really cool about this, it's designed to look like a GameCube, and that's exactly what it looks like to me. So you got the front, obviously this looks like the GameCube front. I just chose the color black and white, like a black and white GameCube. And then we got the sides here, which are exactly like the vents that the GameCube has. So it's a Switch and a GameCube, 2 of my favorite consoles combined together by the use of this 3D print. And honestly, what's kind of annoying about this, like, I like how there's an adapter for the Switch so you can use GameCube, but you kind of just throw it around. It's loosely attached on a wire, so you just put it whatever, and it looks kind of bad at the TV stand in the shelf. So with the GameCube Switch, you can put it all together just like that. And yes, the feature is pretty cool to have the GameCube and like this, but probably the grip has a better feature, but aesthetically, I'd say this just brings it over. Because come on, look how cool that is. Maybe I just like the GameCube. That could be it. I also do like the Switch, so putting these two together maybe just puts it ahead for me. But just look at that. Just take in the beauty and tell me this isn't the #1 spot. That's what I thought. I rest my case.